Hello and welcome back to Tales of the Wandering Bard. You're still out of frame, but that's fine. As you please.
Something. They can see my nose now.
Excellent.
So we need a nose to register that people are actually here.
Exactly.
Is this cheese of sorts?
Yeah.
It's
Of
quite
sorts.
good actually.
I'm a big cheese fan, actually, to be honest.
There's really good chocolate.
There's tons of other stuff.
Yeah, there's a ton of good stuff. Okay, so it's been half an hour. You've made it more or less back to the town square.
Right. How far is that from Cathedral? Is it next
It's
to
the
town?
the cathedral's in the town square.
Right. So this statue we're next to now. Right? Can we see now what it is exactly?
They can.
What do we see?
It is a statue of a tall, naked man.
Fighting babes.
Throwing babies, perhaps.
There's no babies in sight.
Maybe the statue.
Um,
I'll lose interest
no babies
immediately.
inside.
No babies at all.
No babies allowed in town square.
It's weird.
That is
He's
weird.
holding
We should
a
investigate.
water can from which water falls into the fountain, and there's metal crops coming up out of the fountain that he's like pouring the water on. It seems to be
Farmers.
some sort of farming
Yeah.
statue.
Well, since he doesn't know at all there's a statue, we don't tell him what it is.
Of course not.
Because
Yeah,
it's
let's
not
get
important.
going up.
Right.
Besides, we're on a mission to blow
How many
the
people are
cathedral.
there?
Mission
Town
God.
Square.
In town square, yeah, it's a fairly large town square. It's the center of town, so there's probably 200 people about right now.
And these people just going about their business.
Yeah, there's some people washing clothes, getting water. There's no kids. Well, there's no babies, but there's some
No
kids
babies.
playing in the fountain.
Sure.
There's
In
all the
fountain,
workers in
like
the fountain.
The metal.
Well, the metal's
things
on
that
one side where the water is being done, where the statue's pouring the water. On the other side, where the sharp metal things aren't, is where the kids play.
Right.
Oh no, we're
In the
gonna kill some kids.
cathedral.
We'll see.
Are there people that work at the cathedral as well?
There's
Just,
gnomes working on the clockwork. There's dwarves building on the backside. There's that same preacher preaching the same exact sermon, word for word, that you heard earlier.
Seriously, he's
It's
still
a different
going.
group of people in front, but
Yeah,
he's
different
giving the
people.
same sermon.
Right.
Question: the
Foods and change.
at the scaffolding, are there torches? Is there any indication the work continues as it gets dark?
There are no torches or lanterns visible on the scaffolding.
Which would make sense. And when is are the barrels going to explode?
An hour and a half from now. And we're just going to use the real counter, the real time, as the...
Oh fuck! You're serious?
So yeah, I mean, if you want, we can fast forward, but you have at
Yeah.
most an hour and a
Nice.
half of real time to solve the situation.
Solve it.
Yeah.
Well,
Blow up a
carry it through. Get
Yeah.
the slide back.
I think you can guys do it in like 20 minutes though. So
Well,
Oh, we'll
place them
continue
down.
on.
Fast
Yeah.
forward.
The barrels are there.
I no longer care about these people. No, I suggest, I'll just turn to my two companions and suggest, that cleric guy is going to be the most annoying one because he's going to keep the people there. So I'm going to have to try and take his place. I'll just approach him and explain to him how he has been blessed by my presence alone. I'll
Exactly.
try
Absolutely.
to get as many people as I can away from there. Maybe worth just checking out inside the cathedral first, how many people are there exactly. what
Maybe
we can see.
I should do that. Considering you're busy with the barrels.
Well-
speaking of, where are the barrels right now?
I'm carrying one.
Yeah.
You
And I'm
pushing
rolling another one. Yeah.
So people can see it that we've got barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looking about, there's dwarves hauling
Yeah.
blocks of stone. There's people moving all sorts of stuff around. There's carts going through town.
Is there, if we look at the cathedral, is there a place where it's like a lot of stuff being stored or stacked?
Mostly on the backside where the bulk of the construction is going on. There's a lot of stones being moved in and out, as well as just general supplies. Hammers, nails, boards.
Yeah. Can it be like a timing when there's no one actually near, like a certain spot where other stuff is already being stacked up? and just pick a good timing to just put the barrels there without anyone really perhaps seeing it. Probably
Well,
they will see it, but
all
not
the
really.
supplies are in the middle of where all the people are working. You know, they keep the supplies close at hand.
Maybe you should already start your distraction.
Yeah, I have to try and distract these people before you place barrels.
Yeah.
And then I'll roll them over to the
One by
right
one,
spots. Sure, I can do that.
Can you go check out first then in the cathedral how many people are there?
I go.
And can you tell them that the blessed one is outside and will
Yeah.
like say a few words?
I go in the cathedral. I check out how many people there are, and kind of loudly I go to the guy in charge and I say, "Your Honor, whatever."
Your Honor.
I'm not a religious person. I don't know how to approach these people. We spoke to you earlier. The Blessed One is outside. He seems very distressed. He said he has to tell you something very important.
Oh, of course, of course. Is everything okay?
I don't know.
What happened with the warlock?
Oh no, that didn't even happen. We
You
didn't
don't know if
even
he
get
said
there.
this. Yeah.
And so I lead him outside towards where I left him. And as I come outside, I say, here is the honorable pastor, whatever he is. I just told him how distressed you are, and that we didn't even get to the warlock, considering how important this message was.
Well, I think to myself, I wasn't planning on being distressed. Damn it.
Just improvising.
So I approach the cleric that is there. I hope I can hear him, right?
Yeah,
so I can just
He
approach
puts
him.
a hand on your shoulder to let you know where he is. It says,
People really like to do that in this town.
Mhm.
Alright, I'll just put my hand on his other shoulder.
Alright.
A little awkward.
Touching shoulder.
I'm standing
Bob heads.
awkwardly there.
No. So I tell him that I have a few words I like to say to the people of this town. Words of significant importance, I think.
Of course. Should we ring the bells and gather the whole town?
Well, actually, yeah.
Yes, get more people to the thing
You
that's
should.
about to explode.
You should get as many people as you can should come out.
May I know the nature of the message? Is it from her, the nymph herself?
It is not from her.
Dum dum dum.
Okay. I will ring the bells immediately.
Thank you.
Okay. He runs off back to the temple. Meanwhile, did you stick around after?
Yeah, I
Okay.
stick around.
Okay, so he runs back off towards the temple. What do you guys do while he goes to ring the bells?
So I kind of take the position that a cleric was in, just somewhere where there already was a little crowd waiting, and then I address the people who are already there. So people, just stay here. I've got a few things to say I think are very important for you to hear. So just hold on while the rest of the town gets the opportunity to also hear my words of importance. Very significant importance.
I keep an eye out to see how the workers are working, which way their attention is, so I can give the signal when everything is clear. Well, he can see for
Yeah,
himself.
exactly. So
Sure.
I'm just moving the barrels to the side somewhat.
Okay. Pretty soon you start to hear church bells going off. Give me perception checks, the two of you.
Sure.
Sorry.
Painful.
15 plus 14 is 29.
Ooh, very nice.
25.
Cool. So you look at the bells as they start to go off, and you see the gnomes who are just below the bell tower working on the clock start like and one gnome actually tumbles off the side of the clock.
Oh.
I laugh, you have no idea why.
I can hear a gnome.
There's a kind of a crunch as he splatters on the ground.
Poor gnome.
Oh fuck! First
So
victim!
mean to-
Are the townspeople distressed?
Some of the people near you go, "Oh, did you just see that happen? Did you just see the gnome?"
Perfect. Alec of
I look at
59
those
is-
people with a look of, what the fuck, people? He's blind. Like, come on.
No, but I felt it. It felt good.
What?
No, it's you.
You
No.
felt the disturbance in the
Yeah.
force.
Well, felt a disturbance in the ground.
Um,
No, I'll try to calm down the people if they actually make a lot of fuss about it.
They don't make too much of a fuss. Surprisingly, they're more concerned about what the bells mean. And people near you already know about your message, and that's all gnome fall and die.
Yeah, message
Workers die all the
gnome.
time.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's
Yeah.
sad, but they don't really give a shit.
It's
a
a
fucking
gnome
gnome.
in the end.
Exactly.
Right. It's not like it's a little person.
So the cleric comes back out with you as well. The bells keep ringing. The other gnomes come down and come over to the cleric and start yelling at him and gibbering.
I'm
very
gonna
quickly in
start
Elvish.
moving away from the cathedral and towards the
You're
square.
gonna need someone
really.
to lead you.
Which I will do then.
Okay. So yeah, I mean the cathedral is adjacent to the square.
Yeah,
So you,
I know, but I'm moving a bit away from the cathedral because honestly, if a lot of people are going to come over here, I want to be able to just. I imagine then that the square is adjacent to a road,
Mhm.
so that I can actually get on the road as fast as possible. Not have to find.
Yeah,
my
I mean
way
the road
through.
cuts directly down the middle of the square, except for the.
So if there's a lot of people, I want them to be able to follow me fairly quickly. Because as what I imagine that we can't get 11,000 people in the hour just all show up there. They're not all going to come, but I imagine that quite a few are going to come outside. I just want to make sure that as I start walking away, that people will be able to join with the crowd rather than go to the cathedral.
Yeah.
True.
So they can just join in with the rest of them.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay, I just start putting the barrels in place with all the
As
confusion.
You notice back in the area where these dwarves are working, it's not fenced off, but there's some carts blocking vision. This back area is almost. It's a little bit more secluded where they're working. You see that there are a couple of large casks of ale that the dwarves have been drinking from back here
Okay.
while they work, in addition to all the other supplies. So these two barrels do not really look that out of place.
Oh,
They
fantastic.
have different style of barrel, but there's already barrels back here.
Sure, I'll just put them with the other ones,
Okay.
the ale guys. Yeah.
Sure. All right, the people gather around you. The bells keep ringing and ringing. And
I
ringing.
start to walk towards at that point the nearest gate. No, preferably actually the one where we came from.
Okay, so the north gate then.
The north gate. I ask you to just lead
Yeah.
me there. And meanwhile, I'll tell people, come with me, people. We are a great crowd, so I would like to address you in a place where I can actually sense all of you instead of you having to be like between houses and not being able to see me as I explain a few things and things that have distressed me over the last hour, because I've seen things, not literally, seen things, I've felt things that need to get said, that I need to get off my chest.
The cleric comes up to you after brushing away the gnomes, saying, "This is the Josephine's latest messenger, her herald. He has been blessed by the wonderful wood nymph that gives us our bountiful crops and wishes to address us. To the gatehouse!" And cries of "To the gatehouse!" echo through the crowd.
So I continue onwards and trying to get outside of the gates. So trying to get in. I think that's I guess a little bit of a plains area or an open area where people could gather.
Yeah, so there's like 100 meters from the edge of the wall to where the forest is that they keep very well cleared back.
Right. So just I'm gonna be quiet as I go along. It's only, as you said, like a few kilometers maximum throughout the town. So like a kilometer and a half maybe from the center square to the gatehouse.
It's
I'm
a
just
straight
gonna
shot.
be quiet because it's a 50-minute walk maybe. So it should be sufficient time for
Yeah.
to place the barrels and stuff and get away.
So that gives you, by the time you get to the gate, there's roughly an hour before the sun sets.
Shit. If you're gonna have to talk for an hour.
Oh,
Wow, it's a
challenge
challenge.
accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
In real time.
In real time, let's go, yeah.
Well,
Give us an hour-long speech that holds our attention.
it's not really going to work. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find like a spot where I'm a bit higher up, so people can actually see me from a crowd rather than hear me, but not really see me. I could ask a few people to hold me up, but I'm not.
So the clerk suggests that you stand on the ramparts of the wall.
might be a good idea to do that. But when they don't get blown off the wall. But
Yeah, but
you're still with me, right?
yeah. Are the bells still ringing?
The bells ring for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
They're still ringing when you get to the wall and you see people coming into town, like towards the center of the square, and then trickling out towards where the big crowd is.
Yeah.
So the people aren't gathering at the cathedral by accident?
No, because as they show up at the cathedral, they can see this
Yeah,
huge
track.
mob, and they trek.
Can we
towards the wall.
see? So it's within our field of vision. So can we see if there's still if we arrived there, like on the wall, and people are gathering, that people are still in this town square, moving up?
Yeah, it seems that. So, well, the bells keep ringing and they
Yeah.
keep ringing. And after like 20 minutes of ringing, people are coming out of their houses going, "What the fuck is going on?" The bells won't stop.
We
So
should have
tiny, you can
asked
see.
someone to stop. Well,
I'm willing to run off and...
we can actually we can drag our time a bit, just wait for people to arrive. In the end, that's what I said. I want as many people as possible to hear this. So we should go follow through with that, not just now go, well, we've not enough people. Let's just.
exactly.
So we can take the time that we need. I can. What I'll do is I'll sit down and then pretend to really be in a meditative state, just waiting for everyone to just come closer and closer. And for
Occasionally, the
time.
crowd shouts out questions to you. What's happening? What is something wrong with
So all I do
Josephine?
is like gesture with my hand and just to put forward to the.
They stay quelled, but they're very curious and they shut out. After another 15 minutes of waiting at the wall, the bells stop. And after another 10 minutes of waiting at the wall,
I'm gonna when the bells
crowd
stop.
has stopped
When
gathering.
the bells stop, I'm actually gonna stand up and continue to act as if I'm really meditating, just to give the crowd a sense of that something's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. After another 10 minutes, the crowd stops getting larger. It seems that everyone that
Yeah.
would arrive has arrived.
So how much time is left now before?
About 35 minutes.
35 minutes.
That's possible.
Well, right. I'm gonna. I almost wanted to say I'm gonna open my eyes, but it's not really gonna make a difference. So I'm gonna look at the. I imagine now that the largest part of the crowd is actually still within the city walls.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look. They're probably surrounding us.
Yeah, they're
Imagine
all
so.
on the area that goes around the gate, down the main street. People are sitting on rooftops and peering out windows.
Right. So I'll look at the crowd and I'll really address the crowd. So look at them and go, good people of this town. I have distressing news, but I also have very very good news for you. And I think it's important that you hear both and at the right time, and that time has come. I've known this for a very long time, but now after my encounter with your nymph, I've come to a few conclusions that are very important. But before I tell you what the distressing news is, I would like to tell you a story about the importance of elephants. And I concoct a great
face
story,
palm.
which is a very very on the one hand judgmental, but on the other hand a very enduring story about how important animal life is for this region.
Okay.
Kind of goes hand in hand with the nymph being there. So I just try and
So you can either give me the short version of this story and actually give me the key points, or you can roll a charisma check to just not have to come up with it on your own.
Do I see the people are eating it up, or are they? What the fuck is this guy on about?
Mostly they're listening,
Okay. So,
but there's definitely people talking to one another. It's early on. He's only been talking for
Okay.
60 seconds.
yeah. So I have to just try and get the 30 minutes, and then I have to go to the distressing news being, well, I've actually led you to safety because I fear that something bad might happen to your. So that's the plan I have. But as far as the elephant story goes, I'm gonna figure it out what I want to do, because a charisma check, if I fail it, they might just go, screw this guy, I'm going out. So I said,
What is your charisma?
my charisma is
18.
Yep.
No.
Stick to that. He has no
12.
charisma.
12.
Okay, just figure out a story then.
Yeah, it's gonna be moving.
You're
So
a
I
teacher,
said it.
9 or
Yeah,
better,
it's
or
not
is it 20?
as a teacher. You don't invent.
You don't
what I would
invent
do.
stories?
Yeah. No.
You don't know the
let me think.
teachers
So
I had.
I said I had an endearing but a what did I say? Judgmental but endearing story. I think I said.
Mm-hmm. So what is the premise of your judgmental but endearing story? What is the kind of overall? How does it go?
Well, I think the point to the point to the story would be, or at least something that they can derive from it, would be something in the lines of elephants actually not being not common,
Mm-hmm.
not being inconspicuous, not being animals that are supposed to be captured, not being animals that are in fact
I disagree.
supposed to be a tool for human beings,
Huh?
but
What are you trying to tell me?
trying to talk about their majesty as a large creature that has a long history and an important history, as being a creature that's a lot older than anyone that would be here. It's not like they know of the elephant, they can concoct that
Mm-hmm.
a bit and talk about their ancestors, where the elephants came from, and then I will refer to a few also concocted stories, like anecdotes about elephants I have encountered in my travels.
Mhm.
Elephants that have actually told me about their misfortune. So,
Okay.
will elephants talk to me about their misfortune? And it is after meeting with the nymph that the stories of the elephants actually make sense, and that all the elephants I have met have kind of sent me in a certain direction, leading me to this point. Because just now, when after meeting the nymph, really thinking about it, I found out that all these elephants is actually trying to tell me the same thing, that I have to come here to avoid one very important thing. So that's where I want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because the elephants are actually the ones that have been trying to tell me the bad news. The dark one, that's when I start with the bad news to the people, like a few minutes before dusk. The dark one is actually in these regions that he's said to be very near, and that he plans on doing terrible things, and that I felt that the only thing I could do is get you closer, and really in geographically, this positionally, location wise, closer to the nymph. So as close as I could get into the nymph, the safer they would be at that point in time. And then I will start actually to walk towards where the nymph was.
Okay, so you go down and out the wall and out
Yeah.
into the. Okay, there are cries and shouts from within the town. People say, "He's taking us to the nymph! He's taking us to the nymph!" Other people saying things like, "Elephants? I don't understand what elephants have to do with anything. Elephants don't talk. Who encounters elephants?" There seems to be a great deal of look back and forth, and people are very curious as to what the hell's going on.
That's the only thing they have to be really curious.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that
And I shout so as inconspicuous as possible. Oh, tell me more! I want to hear more, and try to rile up the crowd.
Same. I'd rather crowd too.
Let's
so
follow
this
the
got a good vibe
person.
going.
it's follow elephant, man.
Give me 4d12 to see how long it takes you to tell your story. 2, 3, 4. Let's see, that's 24 minutes to tell your whole story.
Okay.
which isn't a bad thing. We have 35 minutes, so I've got
that's 10 minutes left.
about 10 minutes left, and I'll move towards like the position that I know in the forest.
Yeah, so you come down the
Takes
wall,
a few minutes
you start to go outside.
walking, yeah.
So you get 5 minutes outside when the sun has gone down. There's people saying, but we have no light. How will we find the nymph?
Just follow me.
Follow
There's,
his
of course,
voice.
There's confusion. People
I'll just
panicking.
start just shouting out, and then not even
Marco!
words.
Marco!
No, I'll just shout, and not really words, just sounds, like woodland sounds.
Oh! Oh!
More like screeching
Elephant
sounds.
sounds.
And not animal sounds, just woodland sounds. Have you
Can you give me a woodland sound?
Yeah. Just listen very carefully, and you can hear that outside there's leaves, and they're falling now. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the leaves fall. And that is exactly what I'm going to tell the people. To just be quiet and follow me, and just listen to the leaves fall, as they have done for so many years.
At that moment, there's a huge explosion that rocks the
thank
inside.
God it's over.
What are you doing? Where do
just
you
in
go
the
once you
crowd.
place the barrels?
Yeah, I just went with the crowd,
Okay.
riling them up.
Alright, so yeah, you've met up with everyone else then.
Yeah,
I fall to my
next
knees,
to the
and I
barrels.
fall to my face.
Okay, there's an explosion. It kind of you can feel the ground shudder and shake with it, and people panic and freak out. They split. Everyone runs outside of the city. You get surrounded, mobbed by people saying, "What's happened? What's happened?"
So like I said, I just fell down. I pretend to be really unconscious.
Okay.
Oh no, the herald is unconscious. Oh no.
There is a panic.
So happy the speech is over.
You're happy. What about me?
I had to listen.
Well,
You had to listen to
fucking
him.
hell.
Yeah.
You had to listen to him.
I should have just said roll.
Okay. The lead cleric comes up to you and kind of shakes you a little bit, trying. Harold, are you here? Are you awake, Harold?
I'm not going to
Harold.
respond to any of it.
Get him inside to a tavern or something.
Give him some beer. That'll help.
Where there's beer and warmth and...
Some time passes. The crowd eventually disperses. News comes in from the center of town because people go to check out what happens. That the cathedral has been horribly damaged. The entire backside has been collapsed. The parts of the walls leading up to the front have collapsed as well.
Shit, it's not gone?
You're not sure, but it sounds like there's been massive damage done to it. You need to see it for yourself to really know what the destruction is like.
You just see it for yourself. It's not up to me. I'm just gonna pretend like I'm completely knocked out. They probably know that my vitals are okay. But
Yeah.
I don't really have to respond to it.
Eventually, a couple of good Samaritans come pick you up and drag you into a.
You didn't even drag me in yourself. You left me behind.
I'm a fucking halfling!
I was just watching what was happening.
They take you to an inn.
Yeah,
We follow.
They
Yeah.
put you in at the nicest room available.
Right.
The two of you, I guess.
Yeah, we
can-
follow.
We're his
in-
friends, we also need nice
The high
rooms.
cleric comes with you
Yeah.
and makes sure that you guys are all
Yeah.
taken care of, then heads back to the church himself. Eventually it settles down, you guys have a peace and quiet, and you can wake up without anyone seeing you.
I'm really gonna wake up.
Mm.
Just go ahead. No.
That's very convenient for you.
I'll wake up when I'm sure that no one's around.
You're sure, yeah.
Right.
Alright.
Right.
I
I'm not-
would have stayed with him. Just
Yeah, we were there in the room, same room, just like everybody's gone.
Right.
What do we do now?
So we may have pulled this off.
So far,
Somehow.
yes, we need to
But-
get to the warlock.
Yeah, we don't know if
Inconspicuous.
the partial collapse was enough to
He
like
told us to
fulfill
put the barrels in the
contract.
cathedral. We put the barrels in the cathedral. The thing blew up.
Right.
He didn't specifically say like, I don't know, the tower must fall 30 degrees on the other tower.
Right.
It's destroyed.
We have to decide first what we want to do. Though I can't really go
Straight to the warlock.
go straight to him and get my eyesight back and then try to skip town for some reason. We
Yeah.
could do that.
We could
That'd be the
sneak you
easy
in
way
there,
out,
but it
because
won't be easy.
we still want to get an elephant. We don't really care about this thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But I'm suggesting that we might want to look into this warlock guy.
Mm-hmm.
we just tell the townspeople what happened.
What exactly were you?
Yeah.
So
Well, there's after the contract has been fulfilled and you've got your eyesight back, there's gotta be some way you can write. So maybe you leave a note for the high priest or whatever and tell him
No.
it's the.
I'm
after-
sorry we blew up. your
Yeah.
country.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
very sorry.
But
we
we're
just needed him to get to see you again.
we're like
See you
five. No, we lie. We say we were forced or something.
He
We're,
doesn't need to know.
But if we
but that warlock is kind of like an asshole.
But
Ah,
I don't think
know.
it matters much if we tell them, yeah, we were forced, they're still gonna kill us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They won't be
Fuck, you're right.
for
Yeah,
religious
let's not
people.
tell.
They won't be that forgiving. I'm afraid.
The thing is though that these people, they're still gonna flock towards me.
How annoying.
Yeah, pretty annoying.
Oh, me pop.
Maybe perhaps, look, either I continue to do this until we figure out a way to deal with the warlock.
Exactly.
If we figure out a way to deal with the warlock before we go to him to get my eyesight back, we can act on it
Mhm.
right away.
That's true. Yeah.
One option would be to, for example, just we could tell the town that the warlock has something to do with it. Just say very vague. We could then, as a suggestion, we could go to the warlock and try and take him out, and then explain afterwards if we manage. Otherwise, we're dead, which doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But if we manage to take him out, tell him that it cost me my blessing to take out the warlock.
Okay,
Which
but I really don't want to
might-
fight the warlock. He seems like
Yeah,
pretty.
I would
strong
prefer
guy.
to just have the townspeople fight him.
Yeah, that would be much easier. Let them do the thing
The-
for us.
the dirty work.
What's going to keep the warlock from just blowing us out of the water?
Well,
Well,
that's why I suggest maybe sending a messenger after we're long gone with
So
with some notes.
we get eyesight back and skip down.
Yeah, exactly. Or
So-
you can stay, have the townspeople search all the land
May-
for
may
an
not be-
elephant,
might not
bring
be
us an
only
elephant,
blame
and
them.
then we skip down.
All the
Yeah,
elephants
exactly.
from my stories.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've kind of.
Find me another elephant. I will tell
There's
you
a
who
good
did this.
foundation for the elephant thing. I
Yeah.
think we
I
have a
think
thing here.
we can capitalize on that and try
Exactly,
to
get
get a few
them all out.
adventures to get us an elephant.
And we stay in the town. They go get us an elephant.
You've got a nice room here.
We can tell the townsfolk that we will investigate this horror that has come
Mhm.
upon the town.
The nymph has tasked you to investigate
But-
this
Yeah,
disgrace.
but the
or
warlock
something.
won't be too happy when.
But
He hears about
we'll
staying
just tell the warlock we proposed we investigate.
Warlock didn't ask us to go away.
Yeah, exactly. He was.
Small question: did he actually sign the contract with his bot?
Probably, yeah. The warlock?
Whatever you can remember, your character knows.
I can't remember hearing him do that.
He went
And-
first, right? Or just took your hand first. I don't remember.
Anyways, we have some notes we can remember
we've
next
got
time.
some loose ends, but we've had that from the start. to
Exactly.
be honest,
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you go to the warlock right now?
I suggest we first approach some of the town officials and tell them that we will, as the Blessed One and his company, we will investigate this. What is clearly
Heinous crime.
a crime
Terrorist
of
attack.
well, not a terrorist attack by a neighboring village, a attack by the Dark One or an apostle of the Dark One that we will investigate.
Then we will interrogate the warlock, and we got an excuse to go visit him.
That we will just visit all options.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I suggest from now on you put something in front of your eyes so that if you regain your eyesight but you still have to
Yeah,
pretend you're blind, it's easier for
We
you.
should have done it earlier.
Yeah, but now he's.
Doesn't really matter earlier. They never even wondered if it was true.
Yeah, because
Well, I mean, they see someone clearly blind coming out of the temple, proclaiming to be, that, and the high priest behind him doesn't contradict.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're gullible, but-
That's a stamp of approval, a subtle one.
But the high priest didn't really question it either.
It's true.
No, but it's nice for him to have a blessed one in town.
But if it's
so-
that easy to become the blessed one,
It probably happens every week, for all we
I
know.
don't think so, judging by the way the town. So once every 10 years, someone goes blind. What? Should I suggest going to town officials? Start there.
Just get
Tell them that we will investigate this as we are probably in a better position to do that than they are at this point. It might be dangerous for them to try and do that. Try and convince them with that.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Okay.
First
Alright.
down.
Well, luckily, most of the town officials have gathered together in the town hall, which is opposite the cathedral,
I don't know
the
why.
town square. Yeah, something about a recent
Someone
event.
blew up.
I don't know. You guys, as you approach, are people gather and then make way, and gather and make way for you. There's a great spectacle, and you are quickly ushered into the town hall. Even without you trying to get there, you were brought forth into the town hall. There you see the Lord Mayor of the town. He's a spindly, kind of sickly man who doesn't really look like he's got much health to him or much power to him. Maybe, I don't know, there's something about him that just kind of strikes you as off. Maybe he's anemic or something. He just kind of sits back.
Is he mentally ill or just physically?
You're not, I mean, this is the first time you've seen him. It looks mostly physical, but there could be some other things there.
Let's hope he's stupid.
The High Cleric is there, as well as a few other people, which are probably guild leaders and important merchants and important, lesser lords of the area, lesser nobles. And they're all discussing things as you approach, and the High Cleric raps his staff on the table and says, "Everyone, be quiet. The prophet of Josephine has arrived, the one who saved us all from this destruction."
Right, so I'll proceed to quiet down the crowd. Go, shh, shh.
You're good at that.
So I go ahead and say, well, this has clearly been the catastrophe that I have been sent here for. I do not intend to leave this town before this crime of the Dark One has at least been.
The Dark One?
Yes, it is clearly an act of the Dark One.
Which one? Which Dark One? Who's the Dark One?
There are many who go by different names. I have to investigate before I can really tell you which of the Dark Ones you know that we are talking about. I feel a dark presence. That is what we have to investigate. I will not leave this town, neither will my company, before we know who is responsible for this. At this point we have no leads, but we will investigate anyone and everyone.
One of the clearly knights of the area stands up and says, "It's that damned warlock. He's always causing problems. He's turned people into stone. He's blinded people before. This must be his work." Another person says, No. He's lived peacefully in this town with us for decades. Why would he now destroy something and murder people, innocents?
I'll just say, well, as I said, we'll not avoid any confrontation if it comes to that. We will ask questions when we think questions should be asked. So I'm trying to stay really vague but really aggressive, as if this is something that is really important to me.
Okay. You make a good politician.
And try to add authority to the.
Give me a
the
charisma
religious
check
part.
for all of this vaguity. Natural 20.
Nice.
Elephants!
Elephants! For the elephants! Bring all the elephants
Send
here.
us your elephants!
Okay.
Good night! I require from you an elephant!
They listen to you. They seem
Fine.
swayed by your words. They offer you the assistance of the knights of town. This town has In addition to its 100 city guard, it also has a retinue of 10 very well-trained knights with on horseback with lances, and each of those knights can call up another 6 spears apiece, plus their own squires and bodyguards. So if you need to, you can call up, what is that, like up to 200 soldiers, if you would need to, but some of those will be the town guard itself. You can call up to about 100 men-at-arms, not including the town guard, for your purposes.
That's kind of nice.
Well, it opens up
useful.
a few
Well,
opportunities.
The
again.
mayor
Also-
is sickly.
We could take over the town,
Exactly.
but
It would
Yeah,
only be the
heralds,
kind thing
but-
to do, because this kind of mayor, he lets a warlock like that live in the
Yeah.
town. He's clearly
Such a menace.
incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
let's not lose track the fact that we still
Yeah,
try
yeah.
again. No,
Take over the town, elephant.
Yeah,
and
the elf.
No, I'm
laser.
seeing. I've got a few ideas of how we don't really have to get our own elephants
Mhm,
now.
yeah.
But at least these people are confident that I am telling the truth, that I am willing to investigate this, and they accept me as someone with the authority to actually investigate this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to inquire though as to the limits I can go to within my investigation. Will they allow me to really take matters in my own hands, literally, or are they expecting me to turn people over to the authorities? I wouldn't want to break the law, you know.
that would be horrible.
Okay.
Morally, just not a kid.
The High Cleric says that you should bring those you suspect of being the guilty members of the guilty party before the cathedral to answer for their crimes in front of the gods, and let the gods be the judge. One of the knights says that they should be brought before the court, and that the Lord Mayor should decide the justice, and let the hangman deal with the rest. And the two of them seem to argue back and forth about the shit.
Bureaucrats.
I try to mingle into the crowd and kind of shout, "Let the nymph decide."
Ooh,
Oh shit.
that's a good call. Give me a charisma check to see how your voice carries. If people can, if it's not like
Natural one.
yeah. So let's see how well your plan comes across.
Charisma 10. You'd be fucking dead. What's it?
That's a 20. It's not the right 20 to roll though. Oh. 18. 18 and 10 is 28.
Kind of the right 10.
That's-
20.
That's great. Tweaks 20. A lot of people perk up at this, and even the Lord Mayor sits forward and says, who said something about the nymph? Yes, she should decide. But how will anyone stand before her without losing sight?
The prophet
The one
of
who
the
has
nymph.
no sides. The herald.
The heralds. The heralds. The heralds. The herald.
I raise my hand. I say, I shall do this.
They seem fairly content, although
Oh, fucking hell.
they also agree that the
People.
two knights need to accompany you to protect you through the forest, and the High Cleric himself would like to come. Maybe he will not dare to look upon her, but accompany you to at least hear her judgment for himself.
Oh, this is gonna end up me pretending to be the nymph, isn't it?
Not what I had in mind. Not what I had in mind.
Blue cloak.
But the meeting is convened. No, not convened. Ended, and you guys can go about your stuff.
So we just have to approach the knights when we want to go towards the nymph.
Yeah, when you
If
have
we
a solid
found
lead.
someone.
Or if
We-
you need bodyguards.
someone
Yeah,
we can see.
they all offer to be your bodyguard from now until then. If you want to take them, you can have bodyguards surrounding you at all points of time.
Right. So it's a good option to have when we go about talking to someone we have to visit. Right, so that went well.
How's the state of the cathedral?
Well, as you step outside the town hall to take a look, you see that the back of the cathedral is definitely collapsed, and the right side is collapsed, leaving about half a tower standing in the middle.
I inform as to the state of the cathedral. I mean, well, will it have to be demolished? Will it have to be? Will you rebuild it? What will you do with the cathedral?
The high priest shakes his head and says, we've been working on this for 10 years now. I will have to ask the dwarves if they think it needs to be rebuilt or if they can leave that corner standing. But to be honest, that about a tenth of the cathedral is left.
Yeah.
Is there
What a
anything
shame.
left to take in use for religious purposes?
Only the corner that belongs to Malchus, which you guys would know to be the god of chaos.
Well,
It would be
It's very
rather yeah, I don't know. It would be rather inconsiderate to use a broken cathedral to honor Malchus, I think.
Malchus. Honoring him is...
Yeah, but
front-
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we will speak to the dwarves and see what they have to say. What do you guys... What now? This seems like it's kind of spiraling out of hand. How are you
Oh no,
gonna...
it's going great.
we're finally getting this to go together.
We've got 10 knights, 60
we've got an
spears,
army, we've got
But you-
100 men,
No,
a
but-
sickly mayor.
Now you have a lot of loose ends, though. There's lots of things to
Yeah.
tie together.
Okay, let's just decide what we want. Do we want to get rid of the warlock? That's question one.
Well,
Yeah.
he seems
Nice.
inconvenient.
Yeah.
First thing, probably get your eyesight back because we still.
Yeah, but we need a plan before we get the eyesight
Yeah,
back. If
that's
we
true.
want to get rid of him, we need to act quickly
Yeah,
afterwards.
so get your eyesight back, then there's guard outside and take him.
It's not even certain that we'll get my
Yeah.
eyesight back.
Exactly, yeah, you could do anything.
Again, we need like a contingency plan. Just
Mhm.
take him out.
Sure.
What time is it? Tay?
It's dark. It's an hour and a half after the sun went down.
Well, let's just call it a night for now, and
Yeah.
and tomorrow
Start the investigation.
we'll go to the warlock, talk to him first, see what he says, what he wants to do, and we'll ask a few knights to accompany us to his house and stay outside.
Yeah.
So we have
Well,
leverage.
Yeah, the problem is
Yeah.
though that
If you need them.
we probably
Yeah.
can't get him in because the door's going to be magically closed and stuff like that. So might still be difficult. But we kind of have to confront him anyways because that was the whole point in doing this.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter what we do. We always have to go back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So a few nights outside. We'll make sure that we get something around my eyes.
Yes.
We'll go to the warlock tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So
tomorrow morning comes, you easily can find a piece of cloth to bandage your eyes. If you have no specific purpose, it's just going to be a basic bandage you can get at the inn.
Okay.
You get, how many knights would you like to accompany you?
Just use 3.
3 knights? Okay, they bring
Sure,
their
that's
squires
nice,
along with
yeah.
them.
Mhm.
And they ride horses with you. Well, not with you, but alongside you.
Mhm.
And head to the warlock's house. They seem very uncomfortable here. And
All right. I'll knock on the door.
before the knights ask him, would you like us to come inside with you?
No, stay outside.
You sure? He's a devil.
That's why we want you to stay outside.
Okay. They're a little concerned for your safety.
It's okay, nice.
If you hear noises that frighten you, do not run away. Try to break in. Do that for me.
Of course,
Or
I would never
collapse.
abandon you. Right. Okay. You knock on the door, and it kind of opens again.
Mm-hmm.
He notches his bow.
I don't have to. I've got 3 knights.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
feel safe.
Just I walk
Yeah.
in very casually.
Okay. You walk in. You hear a voice saying, "Well. I was wondering when you would come to pick up your reward."
Well, reward.
The door closes behind you.
We held our side of this agreement. Now it's time for you to hold up to yours.
Of course. Follow me. And
Okay.
he proceeds to
Only good things happen when people ask you to follow them.
heads down kind of a spiral staircase underground. You must be maybe 7 or 8 meters underground. Eventually, when he comes to, as you guys can see,
Mm-hmm.
a well-lit room with a large pedestal kind of coming up out of the middle. It steeples down to a shaft.
So the knights really aren't gonna hear fuck all.
Yeah, I was thinking no one will hear a scream.
In the middle of the pedestal is kind of a dip with some sort of yellowish fluid surrounding it, just kind of resting in it. There's lanterns hanging in the walls that are pointing inward, kind of giving you plenty of light.
Right.
And some sort of weird tracings on the ground. It looks maybe like some sort of magic circle with different words inscribed into it. You can't read the language. It looks to you like the language of magic, but different. It's almost as if like an older version of the language of magic. The runes are a little bit different. They have a little bit more twists and flourish to them, and it's not quite the same.
Sure.
You feel the warlock kind of grabbing you by the hair on your head, and saying, "I'm going to dunk you in the water, and when I pull you out, you will be able to see. Hold your breath." And kind of dunks your head in this yellowish fluid. It feels like it's bubbling on your face. Do you guys have pop rocks here?
Yeah, is it
Yeah.
B? It's yellow.
Yellowish
It doesn't smell like
yeah.
urine.
It feels like pop rocks feel in your mouth, but all over
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah.
Just
It's kind of
crackles and
yeah. And as he does so, he chants some words, pulls some powder out of a pouch, sprinkles it on your head. The circle around him glows brightly for a few moments. After 20 seconds, he pulls your face out of the water. You guys see that his face now has like little scars and scratches all over it, kind of like someone who has really, really bad acne for years, and then afterwards their face is a little bit pockmarked all over the place. But as your head comes out, you can see again. But things look a little bit different. You no longer see flesh on people. When you look at these people, they just look like skeletons to you. I mean, you can see their clothes on
Seriously,
them
that
hanging
bad?
around, but
Fuck.
you just see their skeleton.
oh, this is unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not
Got a nice
totally.
skeleton though.
Always want to know.
And the same thing if I look at myself. If I look at my own hands, I would not
Yeah.
see. It's just a skeleton.
You just see the skeleton.
Oh,
I mean, you hold a sword in your hand, you see the bones and the
Right.
sword like
Yeah,
in
like
between
in
you.
bones.
Oh dear.
well, I tell my friend that I can see, but it's somewhat changed.
Big change.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
Change.
other things I can see apart from bones. When I look at a warlock, it's just bones as well.
What?
The
The warlock? Yeah. You see bones in his face. You smile. Well, it's hard to see. I guess you can't really see a smile on the
It's
warlock's
just
face,
Yeah,
right?
a guy with like teeth.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what he's
Mm.
doing. That's gonna be really difficult because I don't know
So,
if people are
like no flesh, no sinews, no only.
Just bones.
Oh,
just
fuck.
bones.
gonna be a really fun companion. Huh?
Well, as a chiropractor, that's beautiful. You can see exactly what's wrong. Like you can make everything right.
Could
A really good doctor
Yeah.
too.
a new way to go. The thing is now I'm wondering if I see an elephant, do I just kind of see a bloody skeleton?
Majestic kind of fun.
A really big skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't the way I wanted to go through life, but well,
See,
it's not like we can undo this, right?
Nope.
Can
Unless-
we undo this?
Unless
No.
we
Fuck.
unless we
New
found
contract.
someone who wants us to blow something up again.
Well, we
To
could go
give
to
me
the
back-
priest and then do.
Crack my
Yeah,
side
it-
of flesh.
In time, some form of your original vision will return. It will take some time.
Right.
Eventually, you will see
Now-
people as I do. You will see perhaps a ghostly outline of where their
Hmm.
flesh ends,
Right.
and where their bones begin.
So the only advantage I have now is, in essence, that I can look at the nymph without actually
Yeah.
being blinded.
You can
No.
see through people. It's hard for people to hide something in their hand from you. So a
Someone
great many
comes-
things that you can do now. That
I
you
can't look through clothes. Though.
No, not through clothes.
So that's the point. Most people are wearing clothes in general.
Yeah.
So seeing through people is difficult.
Evie would.
But I mean, like if someone who's trying to hide something in a hand, or
Yeah, right.
you know,
Maybe that comes in handy at some point. So
Exactly.
If he looks at a
that's his
mirror-
entire ritual.
If he looks at a mirror, will he see bones? If he looks at a painting, will he see the picture or bones? Or
You gotta find a painting first.
this is interesting.
Well, let's explore some options.
It's kind of it would be awkward if I start looking around for shit in this guy's place. Just looking
Well,
around.
there you go.
Well, you've already noticed he doesn't have a lot of artwork hanging up.
Okay.
It's not that sort of house.
It's not that interested in culture in general.
Right.
That's
No,
not bad.
but I'm just thinking in my head. So what are we gonna do? I've got my eyesight back. Luckily, there are actually like marks around my eyes. We
Mhm.
could
do
just
that.
make our way outside. Once we're outside, really pretend like we were in combat with
Yep.
this man. That is clearly the one who's responsible for what's happened
Sure,
in
and
this
get the
town.
knights to.
But are
And
you
get
having
the
this
knights.
discussion like right in front of the
Yeah, that's
wall?
not-
No,
Weird.
I'm. This is what I'm thinking. So
Okay,
I'm,
All right,
I'm
well,
gonna have to
let's
act-
not think it
Yeah,
aloud to the
let's
other
not.
players.
He
I'm gonna
gives
have to act-
gives us a look.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Look, right.
Okay.
I'll give you the look of let's go.
And Rourke grins to you and says, I think our work here is done.
Or is it
What is-
grin to you?
I have no idea, but let him grin.
But you signed the contract, so I'm wondering.
So I ask, is there any chance that you might destroy the contract?
It is done.
But the
It is
actual
fulfilled?
paper do you still have it?
Once fulfilled, it is no more.
Oh, nice. No loose ends.
Well, yeah, we do have a loose end. Not quite sure what's gonna happen with you. Grin looks.
Good luck with your meeting with the nobles and finding your culprit. It will be most entertaining to watch.
Yeah, he knows too much, this guy.
Yeah.
But at this point, we've kind of
He
gone
grinned at me,
in
so
the deep end, so I'm not quite sure what's going
As
to
a-
happen anyway.
A gift to you,
I know.
purely out of the kindness of my heart, I would like to give you the location of another animal of great wisdom.
Is it an elephant?
You seem so fond of these creatures.
Yeah, kinda.
Yes. What is the obsession?
Well, on my travels, I have encountered several elephants.
I
which
heard the story of the wall.
Well, and
If we
Guess
tell you,
you
it's
know.
gonna be kind of an anticlimax. I'm
no,
afraid.
I guess you know that we're just very fond of elephants. We
Is that truly it? You just like
Well-
elephants?
Aren't animals really majestic, beautiful, intelligent animals?
Not to me.
everyone has a one thing that
Well,
they
not to
really
him,
want
true.
from life, and for us, it's an elephant.
You just want an elephant.
Yeah, we just want an elephant.
That's
He's
surprisingly
wondering-
simple.
As to why we're obsessed
But that is
about
what
elephants.
makes life a
Why
simple
wouldn't you
thing.
be?
It is. I'm a blacksmith. I like simple things, but as a blacksmith, getting an elephant isn't that easy. I
There's-
promised my daddy once that I would get an elephant someday.
I'm small, I like big things like elephants.
There's a menagerie in Miklograd.
Right.
They have a mated pair who have just given birth to 2 new calves.
For a warlock, he knows a lot of what happens in a
Solid
zoo and a
forms.
menagerie.
I heard your speech. I decided to look up elephants around the area.
Good man.
Fair enough.
Everyone has their tastes.
I could get you there a little more quickly, if that's what you desire.
No, to be honest, we'll
Will you
find
cut
our
my
own
hand
way.
again to do that?
No.
Oh.
We'll rather walk, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Or
For
maybe
Sure.
We'll
horse.
find our way.
Have a simple portal that will lead you within the elephant's confinement this moment. It might be a little bit more easy for all of us.
I'm sensing you really want us to take the portal.
Yes. I feel, or fear more than really feel, that those pesky bodyguards of yours outside might not be too happy with me. I'm not sure what you're planning.
We'll take
We'll
care
find a
of them.
scapegoat, don't you worry.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
excellent. I would be unfortunate if I had to defend myself
Of
against
course.
people.
There's 3 guards that you would kill him in an instant, I imagine.
We're
so
really afraid of you.
that would be not a pretty
Yes,
sight.
yes, your sarcasm is
I'm
appreciated.
serious.
I would prefer not to kill them. I've been living peacefully here for some time.
So we heard.
Peacefully.
Everything's
I mean-
relevant.
A gnome
Well,
and a few dwarves. Who gives a
let's
shit?
just let's not forget that you're
So-
the reason why
So
the
there were
cathedral
a
is
few
gone.
dwarves who died.
No, isn't that wonderful? A few dwarves did die out here.
Oh,
A couple of craftsmen of minor importance.
oh, okay.
Well, I guess we have to go to their families and explain to them why they have to die. And start on a new adventure, avenging the families of the dwarves that died.
Okay,
No,
you
we-
may go now then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's,
Alright.
let's just go outside.
Yeah.
So we can just go outside.
Okay.
So as I go outside, I start like hyperventilate and really start to make a fuss. Go towards the guard.
I
instantly
follow
and
his
say,
lead.
we have to leave now. Leave these plates now and
They
gather
draw their swords. What's happened? What's
gather as
happened?
many men as you can and just make sure this house is gone.
They retreat with you back to the town square.
Right.
They call up all the other lords. They call up their bannermen. It takes like an hour for everyone to arrive. Half an hour for the politicians to arrive. Another half hour for all the soldiers to arrive.
Yeah.
In the half hour, they
Boulder it down, burn it down, anything you can, just destroy the
This
house.
is a blight upon your city.
The
What he
warlock
said.
is the responsible one.
I see. And what proof of this do you have?
I felt it. I'm very certain. I was in his presence, and it was the same presence that I felt.
What happened to your face?
Well, as we tried to escape his house, he tried to harm me. He used his mind to reach out into mine,
Black magic.
Dark magic, very.
and he tried
Dark.
to paralyze me, but it didn't manage to before I got out of the house.
Truly, the blessed one is blessed.
The Lord Mayor says, now. Waffleguffin has lived here a long time. He has never harmed anyone.
Why are you protecting him?
Yeah.
I am here to serve justice. It is very easy
I have
to blame.
I have saved most of this town from, well, a lot of people in this town
You
from
have
a terrible
saved
death.
some.
Oh yeah, all the people that were at the cathedral,
Yes.
all your clerics, the high cleric, I saved all of them.
Yes.
Why
So now
didn't
it is
the
best
mayor
for you
save
to
us?
trust us. This man is the responsible one.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. I don't have to explain
Local
myself.
lords,
I am.
my fellow
Stop
men.
thinking in practical terms. A broken clock is never right. It is always broken. If a working clock would be stuck on a certain hour, it would in fact be right twice a day. But a broken clock is never working, and a broken clock is never right.
Hail the heralds!
Hell, Hero.
And what happens when we assault this warlock's house and he uses his dark arts upon our men?
You will know he is guilty.
Well,
Exactly.
He-
we
You will
already
know-
know he is guilty.
Well,
Sure.
we will know even more.
No,
You will know that he is defending himself against an attack.
he will be defending himself. You can be very sure that he will be defending himself.
So
'cause
you have
he
saved
has other
some of
plans.
our men. You send the rest off to die.
Some of your men.
You saved your town, man.
We have
We're going to
saved.
cure this blight.
This is not the last
Saved-
action that he will pull. This is not this last devious action. This is just his first action. We are preventing anything else. And some sacrifices have to be made.
The last sacrifice.
It is easy for you to send others to war, to die for you.
Fuck, we're gonna have to fight.
Blight.
If I could fight for you, I would. But I gave up my sight. Just so I could be here to tell you this.
You voluntarily gave up your sight?
Well, voluntarily. I was led here by the elephants towards the nymph, and I looked upon the nymph, and I decided I was the one to bring you this information.
High Cleric, you spoke to him when he first arrived. What did the prophet say? High Cleric says, well, to be honest, he said he really didn't want to be blinded.
I had to make sure of one thing, that the cleric was not working with the warlock.
It was a test.
The cleric was not happy with the idea of me getting rid of the blessing, which at least made me think that he's not aligned with the warlock. I needed the cleric to be on my side.
That's pretty good. Any other evidence against you guys?
If we feared the High Cleric, we would have left him in the cathedral. We did not. My friend actually got him out.
Yeah. I went there, especially for the High Cleric. Yeah. Awesome cleric. Seriously.
So you knew of
I knew of a potential
Waffle Guffin
danger.
beforehand?
I knew of a potential danger. That has been lurking in the shadows for a very long time. He wasn't quiet, he was planning.
Alright. Alright, the Lord calls for a vote of all of the minor nobles to decide on whether
democracy.
to assault the guy's place. I'm going to give you a pretty strong bonus to their otherwise 50-50 split decision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 of them are here. The local Lord will cast the tie-breaking, or the High Cleric will cast the tie-breaking vote if needed. So, 1, 2. Wow, even with your massive bonus, that's still split 50-50 down the middle. The High Cleric comes in. Yeah, he, after half the Lords say, no, I will not send my men to die. Surely most of them will perish in this fight against the Warlock. It is not worth the lives of these men. Maybe we should give them some more time. Maybe we should see if there is something else. Perhaps this is all that he wanted. Fighting him would be detrimental to the city. The others say, no, if he's done this, he will surely take on more. You cannot just appease a man and let him walk all over you. And they're arguing back and forth, and the Lord Mayor turns to the High Cleric and says, you shall decide the final vote, or you shall cast the final vote. The High Cleric muses for a moment, scratches his head, and says, he has destroyed the gods once, and all that remains is the alcove of chaos. I do not think that is a mistake. I think that was his plan all along. We had best purge him from the town with fire and brimstone and swords if we can.
I nod.
The knights cheer loudly, and a small force develops outside.
Yeah.
Do you guys stick around in town to see how this goes?
Well, you're still blind, and you're still.
Why is he not blind anymore?
No,
You can see
but
bones
I
now.
mean, they don't know that, so.
The question,
Yeah,
the question is, are they ever going to find out? That's the thing I have to worry about. Is there something I can say to these people? I can tell them that I will return to the woods towards the nymph where we will meditate.
Yeah, meditation is always religious.
We can always come back and come up with something that we felt the warlock die, which cost me my blessing. Sadly, he must have played a curse upon me with his final breath, something like that. That they actually use me as the blessed one. At least we can continue.
That's assuming
Just
the
It's
town
still
wins,
talking.
because there's always a chance that the
Of
warlock
course.
wins.
It's
Of course.
a big
Well,
army for a
Why don't we take a break, and we'll come back and see how this section plays out in a little bit.
Right.
See you guys in a bit.